show today. We've got a treat, Esther Ekhart. So she is the founder of Ekhart Yoga. This is back in the day before teaching on the internet was cool, before everyone was doing it. She was well ahead of the game, and in addition is a super experienced yoga teacher and other practices too. So Esther, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Where are you in the world today?
I'm actually in Portugal.
Portugal? Do you live there now?
No, I landed here in October because I had to teach a retreat and I never left.
Okay, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to stay in Portugal at this time of year. I can understand. And where are you normally based? Is it the Netherlands or the US? Like
Netherlands.
In the Netherlands. Whereabouts? Just because I know the country reasonably well.
It's in Doorn. It's close to Utrecht.
Utrecht I like a lot. I prefer Utrecht to Amsterdam, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. I'll make a note of that because often I'm in Amsterdam and Utrecht. So, and how did you get into yoga and then teaching online? Let's start with maybe yoga and then the online part. What's your story here, Esther?
Okay, so I got into yoga through my mother because she, out of the blue, started when I was very young, started doing yoga and getting into it and following a teacher training, and I got curious. I remember walking into the room and trying a bit with her and noticing, whoa, I mean, that was the asana part of it, noticing that's actually not that easy. I was not that handy as a young child, I'm a bit, all over the place. So I was a little impressed, but then I think what I saw mostly was my mother getting better. Like she was not so well, as in a little depressed, I suppose, or a lot depressed. And she really started to improve and become more stronger and better in herself. So that caught me. And
you'll jump in there. It's quite an idea for a child to see a parent or an adult improve themselves through practice. Like I think maybe me and you take that for granted as a thing, but this idea of a practice that you can improve your mental, emotional, physical well-being. The physical bits maybe more, you go to the gym, you build muscles, but the other part wasn't common understanding in Western culture. When I was a kid, it was just like, well, you're depressed, you can take a pill or you can be depressed. That's about it, right? Like that's quite a realization for a kid to really see that up front.
Yeah, absolutely. She just became more relaxed and better in herself, and also started taking better care of herself, I think. And I think that was also pretty impressive for me to see. And so I got interested and started to practice a bit with her. And as soon as I hit 18, I started doing a teacher training because I kind of wanted to be able to, give that too and help people change that way. So first teacher training when I was 18. And
wow. So I don't want to cast aspersions here, but I'm guessing that was a little while ago. So what how long has been your yoga teaching experience here?
So I'm now 48. And I think I started teaching, I did my teacher training. I was obviously still quite young. So I did a lot of traveling to South America, India, Philippines, things like that. Just traveled around. And when I traveled, after I did my teacher training, I started teaching other travelers and people that lived there, the blow-ins or the blowouts, however you want to call it. and so, so I got into it in a sort of quite a natural way, relaxed way, because I still felt a little at 18, 19, a bit like, scared teaching. So that was good for me. And then somewhere in my later 20s, I started taking it serious. And that's also when I moved to Ireland. I lived in Ireland for 11 years.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I lived in Ireland, my husband built a beautiful little hobbit home. And that became my studio. So it's like an oval shape mud house with a grass roof, and it was beautiful. And it took 11 people, and that's where I really started. So then I took the classes there, and it got really, really busy. And from there, I took it online because it got so busy. I had big waiting lists. I didn't know what to do with all these people that wanted to do yoga. So I thought, well, I'll put it on YouTube. Someone said, maybe try YouTube.
Sorry, let's date this. When was this? Because I know you're a super early adopter in this space. So what?
Yeah, so this was around dates and numbers are really bad with me, but this was about 2008 when I took it online.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2007, 2008, I took it online on YouTube. And before that, of course, there were a couple of years of teaching in the studio that was just there.
Great. So you couldn't fit everyone in the studio. So you went, okay, let's do some videos. Let's put this on YouTube. Let's see. I think I've been on YouTube, not teaching yoga, but I've been on YouTube for other things since about 2008 as well. Yeah. And at that point, it was just beginning that people could get like a lot of hits on YouTube, but there wasn't really like YouTubers as a profession. You couldn't be a YouTube, like I've got friends and that's their job. They're YouTubers. And that wasn't really a thing back then, if I remember.
No, I don't think so.
I remember my first video got like 40,000 hits or something. And I was just like, oh, like really, like I had no idea that many people could look at a thing that was, it hadn't become super corporate. You didn't have to have great VSEO. It was just, so that's like search engine optimization. It was just if you put a video up and it was any good, or even if it just had the right title sometimes, or a nice cover image.
And they still featured you at that time. So I got featured at one, but I was just very lucky. So at some point I opened YouTube and there I was on the home page. And it's like, ooh, with one of my videos. So that was just that time. That's not happening anymore. I think that was just really something that happened in that time. So that got me going. And the rest is kind of history.
And then, well, let's talk about it for people that don't know. So, I mean, most people now have some interest in online learning and teaching who are listening to this, who are professionals. I mean, when COVID hit in March, we taught thousands of professionals how to work online. We did it. We just felt like me and Daniela and other people associated with the Embodiment Conference, because we had some Zoom skills. Daniela's got Zoom tutorials that now have 1 million hits on the internet, just because she was sort of, again, fairly early in that. I'm sure there was people in California doing it before, but it was not usual until March for the average yoga teacher to teach online.
Yeah.
And there was a few platforms, and I'm guessing you were one of the first, and then things like Gaia started to do it more. Yoga International, who I think were a magazine, started to do it. I'm guessing they probably came after you though, right?
Yeah, no, let me think now. Because when I really started with Ekhart Yoga, it was 2011. So it was a couple of years later. I just started it out on YouTube, did it even work before? I mean, I already had the idea of wanting to have a subscription website. That was clear, but I just didn't know would that work. So I started it out on YouTube, tried it out. And 2008, 2011, I started Ekhart Yoga. And I think things like, there were a few out there, but I think we all kind of sort of came in that space at the same time. More or less, because I started as well doing it in 2008 because I had trouble finding good stuff, and I thought, I can do something here, because I lived in the middle of nowhere in Ireland. I lived on a mountain and there was nothing, so I needed, of course, my own inspiration. And I looked online because that was the only place I could look, and there was, of course, stuff, but I thought, well, there can be more and it can be done differently. So that's when I started doing it.
And I remember it's probably about 2012. I was getting more into yoga, and there was really not many options. I think I remember finding you, Gaia, Yoga International. I think that was about it. And they each had an app and they each had a website. And then it was like, basically I could go to YouTube and it would be hit and miss. And some people like, is it Yoga with Adrian, became very big stars, or Yoga Girl or whoever. And people were becoming Instagram stars at the same time and maybe combining that. But there seemed to be like just these three quite professional, and you paid a relatively small fee and the videos were sort of higher quality. I mean, what was the sort of thinking between having a platform that you paid for as opposed to just on YouTube for free?
Well, on YouTube for free, I always kept my YouTube videos quite short, with the idea of really wanting to make it professional. But also, I suppose on YouTube, I wanted to be able to live off it, because that's all I wanted to do. So that's partly why I just saw a subscription site. Plus, I wanted not to be the only one offering yoga. So I quickly got other people involved, and through YouTube, that's just different. So, I just had that whole vision already of a subscription site with different teachers, different styles, a real professional offering. So and that's when I figured YouTube, I can't build my own thing there. It's like it's their format. So so that's why I chose the platform.
And I guess on the platform, it's, as you say, it can be a bit more organized, more professional. You can make it so, I'm looking at the teachers. A few of them are friends of mine, actually. Got Julie Martin, Helen Noakes. These are people I know who have that kind of somatic perspective. Peterson in Ireland there. Rose, I think I bumped into in the Netherlands. Yes, there's a bunch of people. And then you got guest teachers, people who are well known. Leslie, my friend Leslie Kaminoff on there.
Yeah.
From London. I know Aki from Tri Yoga. So, it does seem like you have a bit of a kind of somatic perspective, but from the people I know, these are all sort of very high quality teachers. These aren't like someone like Aki or Leslie or Helen. They're not just random people who've done a teacher training and then put some stuff on YouTube.
No, I picked my teachers. So I do go for people that are well experienced. These are my friends. Aki has been a long time friend of mine. And so I've always picked my teachers through other people, through knowing, through having practiced with them myself. So that's important to me. It's important to me that everybody's different, and I like to have the different styles because everybody's at different times in their lives are looking for different things. But I do feel it needs to be grounded in knowledge and reality and in love as well, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't want to make it too much of an advert for your website, but it's a very nice design. And another thing I liked about it was the very first thing. It says, why Ekhart Yoga? So there's like something that's driving it, which isn't simply, we've got a website to make some money, right? There's a why there. And the fact that is the very first thing you can click on, by yogis for yogis. And I actually believe that when I see this. I go, okay, great. I don't feel this is a sort of, and it's crazy to say this, but yoga has in some ways become a kind of cynical marketing ploy for many people. And that is crazy, even from 10 years ago, let alone 20 or 30 years ago, when I first saw my mum doing yoga, similar experience, by the way. And, the idea that that we'd have to say, this isn't cynical marketing, this is for yogis. And like that has become an actual, almost like a differentiator. Do you want to say anything about that? Because I actually find that almost quite amusing that is a differentiator.
Yeah, it is. Like, I think because yoga has become so big, there's lots of investors starting to invest in this business, trying literally to make money. And that's just what happens. And all I can say is that we really started from wanting to share it and believing in the practice and honestly thinking as many people as possible need to become aware of these practices to feel better. And that stays. Like, of course, we are also a business, and I've got, especially these times, I've got someone that runs the business for me on the business level because I got a little tired of trying to do and juggle both. But we really protect, and the people that work in the office, they're all yogis, and we all protect the integrity of the business, and it's important to us. And if I have to let that go, I'm out. The fun will be gone. It has to be real.
How is it running a business of all yogis? Because I kind of have a love-hate relationship with yoga culture. On the one hand, I do yoga. I like yoga very much. I've definitely got a lot from yoga. I do yoga classes most weeks. I do a few classes and my own little mini practice. But also, it's driven me fucking nuts over the years. I'm gonna be honest. Like, how is it running a business where everyone's a yogi?
Well, they are also doing yoga. I think that might be another way of saying it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got people with who are very business-like at the same time. So it's not just like, I know what you mean, and that's not how it is. These are people with extra skills.
Business people who do yoga, not flaky people trying to run a business. No. Okay, I got it. I hear the difference. And I mean, do you regard business as a yoga itself? I mean, I've come to regard marketing and business as its own practice. For example, non-attachment, classic yogic thing. Every time I do a launch, I'm practicing non-attachment. I'm going, okay, I'd really quite like to make some money, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to starve. And greed comes in, like if we like, because it does come in as soon as you have money, or you know, I've started to get like, I got recognized today. I started to get a bit famous lately, and it's like ego comes in. It's like, okay, that becomes my practice, you know. So yeah, do you regard anything in running this business as a practice itself?
Yes, we also have values that we all live by, like honesty and you know, we're saying if there's something up with us or between the team members or anything like that, bringing it up, honesty to the customer, you know, and I think a lot of this goes back to my quite first experience when I started teaching, and I was terrified, and it really didn't come easy for me at the beginning. It was not that I was a natural stepping into the teacher role and it was just all perfect. I sweated and shaked and thought, oh my God, I can't do this and all that. So, till I had at some point that realization of all I can do is just give the best I can with the best intentions. And then whatever happens after that is actually not my business. My business is to put it out there in the right way. And I think that's how we practice this business as well. We think about it, we learn, and we make huge mistakes too. And then we put it out there, and then we see, just like you that's a little bit of non-attachment, I suppose.
Yeah, so just do your best, offer it as a gift of generosity. And, you know, obviously you have to have the business head on going, okay, we need to make a certain amount of money to pay the bills and pay everyone's wages. And then it's just like one hand holds the business side and the other hand holds the, okay, and it's all just a practice and non-attachment and never mind anyway. And there's a way in which business is very interesting because it's like this brutal confrontation with reality. Yeah, and that's, you know, which yogis sometimes don't have. I always say martial artists have that, but not yogis. But so business.
Why do you say that? What is that?
Well, you could say, for example, this twist detoxifies your liver, and you've got no real way of knowing. Whereas if you say I'm great at jiu-jitsu, you just get choked out. So there's a sort of let's say a quicker and more reliable feedback loop connecting what you say with reality. Yeah. But business has that feedback loop.
Yeah, sure.
Does that make sense? Like, it's very grounding in that sense. It's like, of course, this is great. And then the internet goes, yeah, screw you, we don't care. Yeah. Or the internet goes, this is amazing. And you're going, I thought it was pretty average, you know? So there is this sort of immediate feedback loop, which I find quite interesting.
Yeah, no, it's true. You make mistakes and you immediately know you've made a mistake and nobody lets you get away with it, basically.
Right, you're there, right? It's exposing. It's exposing. Okay.